Hello, kiddies. It's me, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper. You're listening to Drop the Mic.
We're looking for someone with X Factor.
Has to be me.
How about a film nobody else has seen?
Is it legal?
Will be eventually.
I know what I've done. Bad things. Terrible, awful, murderous things.
Welcome back to our humble Spooky San Diego podcast. We're your hosts, Wesley Swanson and Ryan Jimenez, and together we are Drop the Mic. Thank you for tuning in to episode 336, The X Factor, where we will be doing a double feature review for both Pearl and X. Last week we posted a poll on our IG on which film y'all wanted us to focus on, and the dual review came in at a whopping 67% victory. So thank you all for your continued participation out there. What's up, Ryan? How are you?
What's up? How's it going, dude? I think that's what the fans want. They like those polls. I think they've delivered since we've been doing them, right? Also, it's like my favorite patch of days out of the year. The weekend leading up to Halloween and into Halloween. Nothing is better than this. So it's awesome to be on air with you, to talk about these badass movies, get a little bit spooky.
And now for a special news report. Brought to you by Drop the Mic.
So let's get warmed up, man. What do you have for us on the news front?
Yeah, so Terrifier and Terrifier 2's director Damien Leone stated in a recent interview that he would love to helm the Friday the 13th revival, and he already has ideas and has talked to producers. Have you heard this, and what are your thoughts?
So I just heard about this on my way home from work earlier, just today. So it's funny that you bring that up, but my thoughts are, let him do it, because hot take, and 7 Octobers is probably going to get mad at me for this. I think most of the Friday the 13th franchise is pretty bad, and could use some reworking. Of course, there's a couple in there that I love. But do I think Damien Leone could pull it off? Absolutely, because he is obviously, looking back at the Terrifier films and All Hallows Eve, he has this like sleazy sensibility to his craft that I think fits perfectly in the mold for how the Friday the 13th style, the formula. It's already there, and to unleash him and let him do something with Jason Voorhees, I think it could be so much fun.
Well, first off, I think that you're 100% right. I think I could count maybe 3 Friday the 13th movies that I like. 2, and then I'll go 1 and 2 definitely. But after that, like it gets choppy, no pun intended. And I'll even go further and say that the reboot, when did it come out?
2009, I want to say, maybe?
Is better than the majority of those movies in that franchise. Because they tried something different. They did with the lore. But yeah, that franchise needs, if any spooky horror franchise needs a reboot or some fresh take, it's that one. And I think you're definitely right. I think he has the tools to do so. Also, I don't know if you read this on your way home, but this happened like an hour. But along with, so Terrifier 2's coming back to theaters November 1st. I think the first 100 people into the theater get a exclusive poster that you can only get through these screenings. And then I read too that some of the theaters are going to have replica tickets.
Oh,
so they're going to be giving that away too. But along with that, you're gonna see the movie, and then apparently it's like a 2-minute teaser trailer like legit for Terrifier 3, and then along with that, he announced today that Terrifier 3 is going to be coming out next year, November 1st, and it's going to be a Christmas movie.
Oh, okay.
Which is fucking hilarious.
That's exciting. Do you know, is the poster and the ticket stubs exclusive to somewhere, or is it every theater?
From what I read, it was like they were every theater, but they were super, super limited.
Okay.
Like really limited, especially the posters, because only the first 100 into the theater get it. But yeah, go check that out. What is it, next Wednesday?
Yeah, it is already.
Yeah. Moving forward, Matthew Lillard has joined the cast of Mike Flanagan's adaptation of Stephen King's The Life of Chuck, starring Tom Hiddleston. I don't know if this is going to be the first of his. I know it's an independent movie because they got the okay to start filming, even with all the strikes going on, or the strike going on. But I'm not sure if this is his first Amazon, but that's exciting. It's kind of awesome to see Lillard doing more things, especially with Five Nights at Freddy's dropping tonight on Peacock and in theaters.
That's true. Do you remember what the Twin Peaks revival? What was that on? Is that on Showtime or?
Yeah, that was Showtime.
Okay, yeah. Then I don't think Lillard has done anything for Prime yet, but I'm excited that he's getting out there and doing more work. I know he was on what's it called, Good Girls for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been around, but swinging back around to his horror roots.
Will you be going to see Five Nights at Freddy's in theaters, or are you going to be streaming it on Peacock?
Shit, man, I'll probably fucking stream that tonight at midnight then, to be honest.
That's what I was probably going to do. Moving on, the roles of the cast in Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein have been announced. And so we get to see Mia Goth as the bride, Oscar Isaac as the monster, and Andrew Garfield will be playing the doctor. Jesus Christ, Wes. This is going to be one of the horniest movies of all time.
You know, I think you're right. It's great, great casting choices. Del Toro, does no wrong. I'm very, very excited, and I'm glad that we're getting this kind of that revival after they kind of shut down, the Universal Monsters universe that was going to come about a few years ago with the disaster that was that Tom Cruise Mummy movie that kind of derailed all of their plans. I'm excited for us to get something in the vein of that, and I feel like this is going to be special.
Yeah, I'm excited too because it's Frankenstein, but we're gonna get the bride in it as well. So I'm excited to see how he plays around with the story.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, super excited, dude. I can't wait. It's gonna rock. And I might need to bring an extra pair of underwear. Also, like Andrew Garfield as a doctor, that's fucking I think that's my favorite of the cast. As much as everyone loves Isaac and Goth, like Andrew Garfield as a doctor is, God, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's the wild card that it makes sense, but you wouldn't have ever expected it.
Yeah. In my last bit of news, Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series releases on Paramount Plus in April 2024, which is pretty exciting because that's right around the corner.
And it's also, if my memory serves me correctly, it's going to be the cast from the new movie, Mutant Mayhem, and they're kind of bridging the gaps with that show for the next film, essentially, with this new TV show. So that's pretty cool.
Speaking of the new Turtles, I believe it's in like mid-November that they're doing it's a free screening at the from American Cinematheque at the Arrow with the director. I think it's like November 18th, 19th, something like that. But yeah, so It's free. You just got to RSVP, so go and check that shit out.
Are you gonna go?
I was thinking about going, but I don't know. Someone doesn't like to hang out with me a lot anymore, so. But yeah, that's all I got for my news this week. What do you got for us?
All right, I have a couple. First off, I wanted to shout out something that I just read yesterday that I thought was really cool. Netflix doing something special for Halloween, and they're putting Talk to Me available for streaming within these next couple days, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's tonight. Or the 26th, right?
Yes.
Fuck yeah, dude, that's fucking awesome. Please go and fucking watch it if you haven't.
For it to come to Netflix so quickly, and it's a badass movie. I'm just so glad. People are gonna fucking watch it. It's gonna be number one on the trending.
What's fucking hilarious, dude, that you bring up Talk to Me. I was talking to a coworker, and I was like, "Oh, like, have you seen, like, have you done anything, like, spooky this month?" She's like, "Oh, I went to go see Talk to Me." I was like, "Oh, how'd you like it? Like, it was really good, right?" She's like, "Yeah, but it was super scary. Like, my eyes were closed the entire time." And I was like, I asked her, like, how was the theater experience? Like especially during like the scene when they're in bed with like the feet. And she's like, she like kind of paused, and she's like, honestly, like, I was high as fuck. I don't even remember that scene. And then like the next day she came in and she's like, I totally remember that scene now. Yeah, she's like, the crowd was like super cringing and like yelling. But I just thought that was fucking hilarious because of the way she said it.
Go check out Talk to Me.
Oh yeah.
On Netflix right now, probably. And in my next bit of news, despite The Exorcist Believer's negative critic reception as of late, the film has still managed to pull in more than $100 million at the global box office to date. Believer will be coming to digital outlets on October 24th, which has already passed, so you can stream it right now. I think to rent it, it's $19.99, and to buy it, it's $24.99. Don't quote me on that. But go check it out for Halloween. They dropped it for Halloween for everybody who's not who doesn't go to the movies too much. Go check that out. A lot of hate towards this movie. I don't understand it. In my opinion, I thought it was pretty decent.
Also, Waxworks just fucking dropped the vinyl, so you can grab that score and that beautiful fucking artwork. That if this is done over 100 million, every single Halloween did over 100 million.
I think with the article that I read, they said that that Believer is now more profitable than Halloween Ends, so it surpassed what Halloween Ends did.
So a lot of people talk bad about David Gordon Green, but altogether, I'm pretty sure this run he's on is like over 500 million, close to $500 million worldwide. That's insane for horror and horror directors. So y'all don't like him, but you sure are going to see his fucking movies.
Yeah, he's a money maker, or at least he entices curiosity to the point of throwing money at him, right?
Yep.
Moving on, the next Alien film, which was directed by our boy Fede Alvarez, is finished and has been screened by one of the masters of film in general, Ridley Scott. After viewing the film, Ridley had nothing but positive stuff to say, stating it's fucking great. Also, singling out the dialogue as a highlight, which I found pretty interesting. The new film drops theatrically August 16th, 2024, so look for that next summer. Pretty exciting.
Dude, I can't fucking wait for that, dude. I fucking can't wait. With him and what he did, what he's done, and to get that franchise, I want to be scared shitless, and hopefully he's going to do it. I know he's going to do it. We love you, Fede. If you're not going to listen to us, but if you ever do, we love you.
We do. And just thanks for taking on because I'm sure a lot of people are scared of this IP at this point with the the kind of lackluster responses to Covenant and Prometheus. So I'm just happy to get another standalone Alien film, Xenomorph film, you know?
And now it's time for the weekly recommendations.
First off, I know you said you watched it, but we watched the first couple episodes a couple nights ago, last night I think. Goosebumps, dude, is fucking awesome.
Hell
like,
yeah.
Totally it just blew all my expectations. My expectations were kind of low because of those movies, but yeah, dude, I fucking love what they're doing with every episode and how they're incorporating kind of every book into episode within the story they're trying to tell. Yeah, dude, it's done so fucking well, and it's awesome to see Disney do something that isn't very it could easily. It's a decent PG-13. Like if it was a movie, there's some jokes in it and kind of some suggestive content that I didn't expect to be in a Disney Plus show. But I'm very fucking happy that they rebooted it because it's awesome.
I wonder if they got away with that because it's also simultaneously on Hulu. Like you don't need the Disney Plus extension shit on Hulu to watch Goosebumps. It's there too, because they own Hulu as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah, I think that's why, and they just dropped it on Disney Plus too, which is pretty cool, and it's smart for getting more streams. You know, you have the Justin Long. It's coming off of Barbarian. Very fucking good in this show as well, in my opinion.
Yes.
And yeah, they just really knocked it out of the park. It's only a few episodes. I want to say it's like 7 episodes, something like that.
Yeah, 7.
But yeah, go check that out if you haven't yet. Very, very good stuff. And it's awesome to see like a response to Nickelodeon's pretty fucking good revival of Are You Afraid of the Dark? You know, I feel like now they have some competition, and this Goosebumps show is what I feel like what I expected when they announced those you know, at least the first movie coming out. This is the tone that I wanted for that movie. So awesome that they came back and they did something for our generation who actually grew up with these books and have a fondness for them. You know, it's awesome to see that fan service there.
I checked out a little movie called I Bought It without even knowing what it was about. Cobweb.
Oh yeah,
with Lizzie Kaplan, Anthony Starr. I think her name's Cleopatra Coleman. It was decent, dude. It was. There's a little bit of a kind of. I won't give anything away, but kind of a malignant barbarian twist. Not as big as a twist, but it's still a twist. I enjoyed it. I think it's on Peacock right now, streaming. So if you have Peacock, you can watch it. It's part of their Huluween thingy they got going on. But yeah, check it out. I enjoyed it.
Nice. That's on my list to watch. I know there was some hype when it came out, and I just never got around to checking it out. But now with your stamp on it, I definitely will do so.
And then I know you have been playing it as much as I have, but Spider-Man 2 is incredible. And it's my game of the year, and I haven't even fucking finished it yet. Every time I pick up the controller, it's like me playing a video game for the first time. And I've been doing it for 30 years. Yeah, dude. Sony and
Insomniac, yep.
They fucking knocked it out of the park. I think the run Sony is on with Spider-Man 2, God of War, and then obviously The Last of Us is up there with some of the greatest runs for a studio. But yeah, dude, it's awesome.
I second you on that. Playing that game, man, especially with me, I feel like I'm pretty picky when it comes to video games and them capturing my attention or keeping me invested where I don't end up shelving it. All of those Spider-Mans, Miles Morales, the first one, and then now this one, are so there's so much love crafted into it, and it's so easy to pick up. The mechanics aren't overly complicated. The engine, the open world side to it, it's just absolutely, it's mind blowing how beautiful it looks now that we're on PS5. The voice acting, the little kind of secret things you can do, the side missions, everything is like god tier, as you would say.
Yeah. Check that out if you haven't. And then finally, I think maybe you might have this in your X too, but I checked out a couple weeks ago. I checked out Totally Killer on Amazon Prime, and it was really good, dude. Blumhouse knocked it out of the park again with a batshit crazy slasher.
Check that out. I had so much fun with that too. It really kind of, like you said, with Goosebumps, this one, Totally Killer, really blew my expectations out of the water. It's so much fun. I think I liked it even more probably than maybe Freaky. And it's in the vein of that, the kind of comedy horror, really messing with like timelines and whatnot. It's just, there's so much fun there, and they don't shy away from the violence or whatever, which of course you and I can appreciate.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome. Karen Shipka, she needs to be a bigger final girl because she was fucking awesome in it.
Oh, absolutely.
And also, I love fucking Julie Bowen in it. That opening scene, I think we talked about it off air, but that opening scene with her and the killer is really well done.
It's so, beautifully crafted choreography. That fight scene it really sets the tone for the movie, and the movie really doesn't let up after that point, but it's that's like on a John Wick level. It was so I was in. That brings you in. That's the hook right there.
And then for my last rec is going to be a little different because I haven't seen it. I've been meaning to see it. I've been wanting to see it. It's finally coming to streaming tomorrow or tonight on Shudder. I've heard nothing but good things from it. It has a 99% on Rotten Tomato. When Evil Lurks. I've been trying to go to the theaters, and only like one or two theaters in my area within like 30 miles have been playing it. But it's coming to Shudder tomorrow, so if you have Shudder, check it out. From what I've heard, it's the best of the year, and from also what I've heard is like go into it completely dark. Like don't watch the trailer, don't watch anything. So definitely check that out. I'll be checking that out probably either tonight after we get off air or tomorrow to kick off the spookiest weekend of the year.
I wanted to give a shout out to my man Martin Scorsese's new picture, Killers of the Flower Moon. Went to see it opening weekend, and it's 3.5 hours or was 3 hours and 45 minutes, some crazy number. It's a beautiful movie, as he always, he's a master at execution. Very controversial subject matter. It's handled with care, I will say that. I feel like I learned a lot. I knew about the kind of true crime aspect, but I went into it not knowing specifically how it was going to end, and I feel like that might have made my movie going experience a little more fruitful, I guess, because there was stakes there for me. With that being said, it deals with real life tragedies, and it is goddamn depressing. Probably on the same level as Oppenheimer, in a lot of ways. It feels like a modern epic, of course, like Scorsese is known for. DiCaprio is great, but the real standout for me I'm gonna have to give it up to Lily Gladstone. She's brilliant. Jesse Plemons, De Niro is very, very good and a rare. I feel like, how do you say, in modern De Niro, he doesn't really do, at least that I can remember, villain-esque stuff. So him to do this so late in his career and give such a dynamic role shows you that he's still capable of pulling out a good performance even now. Go check this out. If you got some time, if you got a day to donate to the cinema, because and you know it's going to be coming. It's an Apple TV Plus original. It's going to probably be coming to streaming within the next couple weeks or so. So if it's too long for you to go to the theater, check that shit out at home because it's very good. And I'm hoping that Lily Gladstone gets some Oscar buzz for sure.
Yeah, no, I definitely need to check it out. That 3.5 hour mark is.
It's longer than The Irishman, I believe.
I'm gonna be honest. I love going to the theaters. Going to the theaters. I'll be your number one fan. Or I am going to the theaters number one fan. But that 3.5 hour fucking mark is a lot. And if it was already streaming on Apple, I probably would have already watched it. That being said, I'm going to try to still make it out to the theater. I did read the book. I think I wrecked it a couple times on that couple episodes. I had my questions about the book. So I definitely have my questions about the movie, but I need to see it. I definitely need to see it. And this what I've been hearing too is Lily's performance is top notch, and that I've heard that she's gonna be. People are saying she might be front runner for that Oscar this year's. Like all years, it seems like the last couple of years, this year is stacked again. Yeah, need to check it out. How's what I want to ask you? I think you can get away without giving spoilers. One of my favorite DiCaprio performances is Once Upon a Time because it's like a different kind of role for him.
Yeah,
he plays a dipshit.
Mm-hmm.
How is it a role like that for him, or it's on that spectrum of him being super different than his regular roles?
Yeah. Again, I think it's a rare kind of turn for him as well, and a pretty brave considering what he does in the film for it to be DiCaprio. It's like it's pretty rough, man. But
trust me, dude. When I'm reading that book, I was like, God damn, dude.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how it looks on screen.
Yeah, especially because it's him.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And now for the movie focus of the week.
With that, unless you have any last words, we can get into our main focus, man.
Let's get into it.
Both films up for discussion were written and directed by Ty West, who is currently 43 years old and hails from Delaware. West has been on the scene since 2001, but really created a name for himself in 2009 with House of the Devil, cementing himself as a voice within the indie horror world, with The Innkeepers and The Sacrament following in the subsequent years. In 2022, West and A24 released a modest 70s throwback slasher called X, which was openly embraced by moviegoers and critics alike. Little did we know, West and Mia Goth had already been hard at work on a prequel script for X's main antagonist, Pearl. The film was shot completely in secret in New Zealand following the wrap of X, using the remaining budget. So, we're going to talk about Pearl first because I felt like it makes sense chronologically, right?
Yes. Yeah, it does.
It's rated R. It's from 2022. It's a horror drama. It runs at 1 hour and 42 minutes, and it's got a 93% on Rotten. Starring Mia Goth as Pearl, David Corenswet, Tandy Wright, Matthew Sunderland, Amelia Reed, and Alistar Sowell. Set in Texas in the year 1918, Pearl tells the story of a young woman who has aspirations of becoming a movie starlet. But with her husband shipped off to war, Pearl finds herself stuck in the farm life with her overprotective mother and sickly father. Facing more and more rejection, Pearl decides to take matters into her own hands, risking it all for the life she feels she deserves. Although Pearl is a prequel, I find it quite impressive how well it can stand on its own, offering fascinating character studies that take us back to the World War I era, with incredible set designs and redressings of familiar territory. Some might be disappointed at Pearl's pacing and tone, which are a bit different. Rewinding back to the days of Mary Poppins or Wizard of Oz, Ty West and Mia Goth give us an unexpected opportunity to witness a rare instance where a prequel measures up in quality to its source material, or arguably surpasses it in certain ways. Stream this now with Showtime. 4.5 Scarecrows out of 5. So, I know when Pearl was coming out, AMC did and I was very surprised that they did this, but they did a back-to-back showing of X and Pearl. And I got to go see that, and it was awesome. I feel like it puts all the pieces together that were missing from X. But the reason why I bring this up right now is because I know that you didn't get to see Pearl right away. I think you waited a little bit. And I want to hear what your thoughts on the movie.
So yeah, I did wait a while to see it. I don't know why either. Sometimes shit happens, but I remember you telling me when you went to the double feature that Pearl just adds so much more to X, and so I kept that in mind. So going to watch it, going into my first watch, it gives so much more to X. Like everything about it kind of changes it for me, and it like sounds a little weird, but you kind of sympathize for Pearl a little bit.
Yeah.
And that leads into you feeling kind of sorry for her and X. But I do agree with you that Pearl does, like, you don't have to watch X. Like, you could watch Pearl and be totally fine. And I do love the fact that it's completely, like, it's not what you expect. Like, you don't expect this from, especially seeing X first and then going into Pearl. You're like, did I just fucking drop acid? Like, why is she in the fucking cornfields, like, dancing with this scarecrow? Like, but you're right. It's such a throwback to that golden age of fucking Hollywood. And he does it so well. And two is, what's incredible is that he did this with the same fucking budget, whatever was left over. It was only like $1 million, right, for X?
Yes, it was $1 million, and I think they even did it without A24 even knowing.
So, for instance, if you take Pearl, right, you take that Pearl and you watch it, and then you go and watch a movie that was made for $200 million, like fucking The Flash, there's no comparison that Pearl looks 10 times better. Like, it fucking boggles my mind, dude. And even watching X, like, I just finished watching X like an hour ago, and we'll talk about that, after this, but the same fucking thing. Incredible, dude. Like, I think, I know it's like, the critics love it, and it has such they both have high scores on Rotten, but looking like 20, 30 years from now, dude, looking back at these two movies, the way we look at, like, you know, films like The Exorcist and Texas Chainsaw, that's how those people are going to look at these movies. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he did it for on pennies, basically.
I completely agree with you, but what's also super interesting, or I found this to be interesting, I'm not sure if you know this, but so they shot both X and Pearl in New Zealand, right? So I guess I think it was during 2020, that new Avatar was shooting in the same location, and I think they had taken a break. So Ty West had recruited a bunch of that crew from the new Avatar Way of Water to come over while they were on break, and help him shoot Pearl.
Oh, I did not know that. Still, go watch Avatar and watch this, and there's a fucking significantly big difference.
Yes.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
I know, right? It's pretty wild that he pulled that off, and then in secret too, you know. And you have,
hey, come work on this movie for me, and don't get anything but sandwiches for it.
And then you're fucking in the midst of the pandemic still.
Pandemic.
And you pull this out in the secret?
I wonder what, like, when he brought it to A24, he was like, hey, you know, X is done. Also, I kind of shot the prequel movie already. It's already done, finished. We're good. Like, I wonder what A24 thought.
So,
and who he went to.
so in my research, I think that I read that when he pitched X, he pitched it as I guess he had, even though I don't think he had the treatment or scripts done yet, because on the set of X is when him and Mia Goth actually wrote Pearl while they were shooting X, which is nuts too that it's so good. But when he pitched A24X, he pitched it as a trilogy, and they immediately greenlit it for him without even thinking about it. Right. Huh. And then he shot it in secret, which is crazy. But yeah, I feel like they, and I think it's just based on the merit of what he's done with micro budgets throughout his entire career. You know, The Innkeepers is great. I feel like a lot of people love that. Of course, House of the Devil is amazing, and it feels very of its time, and it's not. It's really weird watching that movie and knowing that it's a modern film from 2009 somehow, because it's shot, you know, in the different aspect ratio. And I just feel like he has, even because that's House of the Devil's story is very minimalist. There's almost nothing to it, but it's the execution, right? And I feel like that is what he thrives in, is almost like Kubrick, where it's like the details and everything is just always immaculate, and coming into his own, you know, with A24 backing him, and then talking about Pearl, like the Technicolor aspect and just the almost like the classic framing of the shots, so consistent. The fact that they used the same house in Pearl as X, and they just repainted it, and it looks so different, you know, and then having watched X first and knowing what goes on there, fucking, what is it, 60 something years later from this one. Oh man, it's a miracle, man, that they made this look so good. And I'll stand by what I said in my write-up to it. I think it's just as good, if not better than X.
No, yeah, I totally 100% agree with that. I think when I first watched it, I remember telling you, like, I need a couple more watches, but I think Pearl is a little above X for me. And with these rewatches, I still feel, just because everything you just said and what we've been talking about is the reason why I put it a little bit high. I mean, X is still fucking phenomenal, but I still put Pearl a little bit higher.
The reason why I think that Pearl stands out is because X is an ensemble film. So you have all these other characters that you have to spend a little bit of time with. And so Mia Goth, or at least her character of Maxine, does not have the amount of screen time that Pearl has, because Pearl is just her, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like this Taxi Driver style story of this descent into madness. But then you're like in the era of World War One, and you have the influenza and all of these callback, like they have her wear the mask, and so it reminds you of like what we were going through at that time, still, you know, with our pandemic or whatever. And there's all these little details that they put in there intentionally that just heightens all of these things for the movie. But yeah, Mia Goth really showcases her acting chops in Pearl to the point of it's almost uncomfortable, you know, that what is it, 8-minute monologue at the end.
Yeah, dude. No, dude, you hit the nail, dude. It's uncomfortable. Even with the couple times I watched it now, like I think I said this when we talked about like I wrecked it, and I'll say it again. She was 100% fucking snubbed out of award season.
Have you seen that when they're interviewing her and Skarsgård for Infinity Pool, and they asked her like, were you offended that you didn't get recognition for Pearl? And she was like, well, no, because, you know, there's a lot of politics and things, and she was saying a lot of crazy shit that and you could see Skarsgård just not say anything at all.
I haven't seen that. You gotta send that to me.
Yeah, but she goes off on this little kind of rant about how she doesn't take it personally, because there's a lot of things that go into those award ceremonies, and horror is notorious for being snubbed out for whatever reason. In a lot of ways, it's true, you know. For a long time, I feel like even comic book movies were kind of glossed over.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I don't even Ty West, like I don't think he was nominated for anything for what he did for this movie. And then like going back to like the whole like fucking we talk about it all the time, but it's pretty shitty when movies like this get looked over just because of the subject matter or the genre, you know.
Mm-hmm.
For fuck's sake, Jordan Peele, you know, he won screenplay or right for Get Out.
Yeah,
but that's it. Like, how do you look at that movie and he only wins for that? Like, he should have swept. That was by far the best movie of that year, and you can't tell me otherwise. And the same goes for this. Last year's 2022 was massive for especially in the best actress category. But to me personally, like, her performance in this is fucking uncomfortable, unhinged, at the end horrifying, and no one touched that other than who actually won that award for best actress. For Everything Everywhere. But yeah, man, this movie, can't say anything more good about it.
Yeah, another thing that I found pretty interesting is that the push to make her and her family, they're immigrants from Germany, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wow, that's an interesting take. I feel like I wouldn't have expected that, but it really kind of plays into that how rough, you know, her mom is, how stern she is, and she's so fucking good in this too, man.
Yeah.
Magnetic. Where it's like you feel why Pearl doesn't necessarily like to be at home. And then I really love the way that they kind of slyly, because Howard, her husband from X, is really not in the movie, but he's talked about, you know, off screen. He was shipped out to war, and she also talks about how they they actually did get pregnant, and then Pearl miscarried, and how she was so happy because she fucking eats kids and shit. And when you get to the end of the movie and you realize that for some weird ass reason Howard stays with her for fucking 60 plus years, it's super fascinating to think about why was he scared?
Watching X, that's exactly what I had like in mind. Like that scene ends right, and he walks in on her with her parents dead, and then flash forward to X, and he's still with her, and he's kind of helping her do what she's doing. It's kind of crazy to think like, why did he stay?
Was it out of fear that she was going to do the same thing to him? Was he just kind of unhinged in the same way? Did he feel for her, and they just kind of went on this, like a Texas Chainsaw kind of thing where it's like, oh, fuck the world, like we just need each other and we'll be good or whatever. But it super dives into like the psychology of why did Howard stay.
You can even kind of throw in the fact that he just got back from war, and he's very desensitized by what he's seen, and that's just that's a reason why he stayed. And shit, if I can handle war, I can handle this.
And of course, he doesn't know this, but then you got to factor in the fact that that Pearl, I don't think she really she seemed like she didn't really like him that much, because she kind of brainwashes herself that he's already dead, or she wants him to die so that she can pursue other things, and then she ends up doing that with the projectionist, and then of course that doesn't work out, and so all of these things fall into place where it's super weird how it all plays out.
I think the my favorite scene throughout the movie because it's insane is the Scarecrow scene.
Oh yeah,
and that whole musical. What are your thoughts on that scene?
Watching it in the theater, I was really taken aback by it. I wasn't planning on. I didn't see that coming. It makes sense in the context of X, because I feel like X does play with a lot of kind of sexually explicit themes. So it was cool the way that they kind of worked that in, where there is a lot of similarities between Maxine, modern for X in the late 70s, and then Pearl, where she wants to explore these kind of taboo things, right? And then so she does that with the Scarecrow. She humps it to completion, I think. And,
yes.
That's another super fucking uncomfortable thing. But then when she meets her projectionist boy toy love interest, he ends up showing her like a very early porn film, silent film, which I guess in my research I found out that that's a real movie that they were watching.
That's crazy.
Yeah, right. And it all, again, another Easter egg that throws back to X that triggers Pearl into what happens, but we'll get into X later. But yeah, all of these very just well thought out callbacks to the other movie. But what were your thoughts on the Scarecrow? What did it make you feel?
I think I looked over to Sandy and was like, are we watching the right movie? Like, did it skip a puss? And then she started doing what she was doing with the Scarecrow. I was like, okay, this makes sense. This fits and kind of gives a little bit more context on why she was doing what she was doing in X.
What are your thoughts on the dad? Who, shout out to him for having to just shoot all of those scenes the way that he had to. Because that must have been very uncomfortable. And then she's like taking a bath in front of him and forcing him to watch, all super fucking weird. And then she like low key is like strangling him in one scene because he can't do anything, and then she's gonna fucking feed him to the alligator because she doesn't want to take care of her parents no more. He's kind of the more innocent person in this entire film who hasn't really done anything.
But is he though? Like if you think about it,
well,
do you think the mom is the way she is and the Pearl's how she is because of him?
Yeah, there could be some generational trauma, like before he fell into his sick ways. Maybe he was an asshole. Maybe there was some stuff off screen that we didn't. That was just insinuated that we didn't get to see. But it's a great point. But yeah, man, when they introduced that new, I guess they introduced the alligator in the opening scene, which is awesome with the kind of, and they hit on. I'm sure you know this. Notoriously, serial killers, they start off by hurting animals, and that's how Pearl opens up, and she kills like a goose for no reason at all because he came wandering into the barn. Pretty fucked up. And then feeds it to her pet alligator, and then we see that there's like all of these alligator. There's an alligator nest or whatever. Again, call back to X, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, man, but I would never be comfortable with alligators being that close to my home.
First off, I don't like fucking water like that to begin with. If I can't see through that fucking water, I'm not getting into it. But yeah, that would not fly with me.
Because it's again super interesting because it's like she almost has this relationship with the gators. I don't know. You only ever see one in each of these films. Supposedly there's multiple. It's, like, are they friends? Like, do gators have that kind of capacity to be like, no, you're cool. Like, I'm not going to fuck with you, but I need my food or something,
Well, that just goes to like, maybe that's it. Like, she feeds them all these fucking people and all these animals that maybe he's all right, you're cool. I'm not going to fucking kill you. Just keep on feeding me.
Lake Placid style. Damn. Towards the end, when she leaves her father at the dinner table, she gets in a scuffle with her mom. Her mom catches fire from the fireplace. Her big dress goes up in flames. She puts out the fire with the hot, probably boiling pot of corn on the, which is fucked up. But and then her mom is severely burned, and she throws her down in the basement, right, the cellar.
Mm-hmm. What a terrible way to fucking die, too.
And she doesn't die.
Jesus Christ. Oh, she doesn't. That's right.
It's like hours and hours later, she climbs up the stairs again, remember?
Yeah.
No remorse. She brings her, the projectionist back home when she knows, her mother is subdued. Dad can't do anything. She brings him over in this kind of fantasy of him, I feel like taking her away from everything, and he starts to realize that something is off. He sees the pig that her sister-in-law brings over or something.
Yeah, and it's like rotting.
Mitzi. It's Howard's sister is Mitzi, right? And they bring it over, and there's some how do you say, some weirdness between them where they don't necessarily like each other, and that's a foreshadowing what happens at the end when Pearl.
I think it's like is Pearl just like a little jealous?
Yeah,
and that's what you're like, that tension.
Mm-hmm. The tension. That's right. That was the word.
And she and the sister-in-law kind of knows it,
because I think Mitzi is the more all-American looking girl. And that
I just realized something right now.
Huh.
We'll talk about it.
Oh, okay. And that plays into the climax of the film where Pearl kills the projectionist, and all of her cards are kind of riding on. She's going to this audition to dance and gonna make it in Hollywood. So she goes to this little church and does her audition, and they do this really cool kind of like a surreal scene where you're seeing how Pearl is thinking her performance is going, where it's like super exaggerated. There's fireworks and there's soldiers, and like the atmosphere completely changes to what she wants it to be, and then all of a sudden it's cut off by the judges. Is like, yeah, that's gonna be a no. And it just crushes her spirit entirely. And then we don't find out about it for a while, but then Mitzi goes in after her. And I think I don't know if Mitzi tells her or not because she's afraid, but I think Mitzi does get the part because they tell Pearl, she's like, why? Like, I'm a star. You can't do this to me. Like, just let me try out again or something. Like, what are you guys talking about? Like, and they're like, you're just not like the demographic we're looking for. We need somebody a little younger, more blonde, aka Mitzi. Mitzi comes in. She's the next person. I think she gets it. Mitzi feels bad, goes back to Pearl's home to kind of console her, and it turns horribly, horribly wrong. Because I think Mitzi figures out that what Pearl's done to her family. So, and I don't know if you thought about this or not, but I think that she kills Mitzi to stop her from, telling her family, from telling Howard, to cover up her tracks. And that's a very vicious scene because it's like a chase scene in the driveway with Mitzi pleading for her life, and that's where Pearl gets the axe and does what she does, and then feeds the body parts to the alligator.
There's a couple. That's probably my favorite screen kind of when she is like killing her with the axe. Mm-hmm. That imagery of her, and I want to say it's the Walmart exclusive slipcover of her doing that, and that is probably. I have a favorite scene. I have a favorite screen grab scene in that, and I have one in X we'll talk about. But that's my favorite for Pearl, because one, what's happening in the scene, but just the way how it's like such a super dark scene and terrible scene, but it's like blue skies, the sun's out.
Or a bright red dress.
Yeah.
Iconic, yeah. When you watch this at home, like on demand or something?
Yeah.
Did they have did you watch till the end of the credits?
It's the teaser, right?
Yes. The Hollywood sign.
Yeah.
The reason why I bring this up is because I bought they have a thing on Apple right now because I don't have either of them, or I didn't. They had the set for $20.
You gotta be fucking shitting me! God damn it! No, well, I have the physical of Pearl. Like I said, it's that Walmart exclusive slipcover. Mm-hmm. But I thought I had X and I don't, so I rented it, and it was like $5. So if that's the case, I might as well I should just fucking buy it.
Yeah.
Even though I own it already. It didn't come up when I searched it though. Like I searched X and that came up, and usually it'll give you if it's in like a 2-pack or however many movies it is,
that one
give you a deal.
That one was weird. I started to buy X separately. I was gonna buy them separately, and then I scrolled down, and at the very bottom they have like a pack, but you have to be looking, whatever. It's strange.
Oh shit.
So I just got lucky with that, but they took the teasers out of the end. Neither one of them
really
have them anymore. Yeah. What did you think about when she tosses her mom back down the stairs? It was she talks shit to her, tosses her back down, and then it's like she almost comes to terms. She smothers her dad with a pillowcase, and then brings her mom back up from upstairs and is brushing her hair.
Dude, I don't it's like you can't believe what you're watching, right? It's like her descent into fucking pure madness is happening, and then she does things like that, and it's like she kind of feels sorry for things, but also is it just her being like a little off?
Yeah, I think her moral compass is just like late, you know. So she has these outbursts that she can't control, and then later on, like I feel like I legitimately think that she felt bad about killing her father later on. But then, you know, throughout the film before the mom meets her demise, I feel like she drops hints to us as the audience that she knows she's keeping Pearl contained because she knows that there is something wrong with her, and that's why she doesn't allow her to stay out in the town, and she gets mad when she goes to the cinema to watch, you know, the movie. Did you notice how when she sneaks into the film, when she goes to pick up her dad's medicine, she's like, I think it's a bottle of morphine. She's sipping on the morphine in the goddamn theater. Yeah. That's what she's drinking, man.
That's right.
It's the medicine. She's
fucking.
She's getting high on the morphine.
We got to talk about how the movie ends and she's that fucking credit fucking claw.
Yeah. The most.
How was that in the theater? Like, how was everyone's reaction to that in the theater? How was your reaction to that in the theater?
I stayed for the entire thing because I knew that there was going to be a teaser, and it was the most off-putting shit. Because I'm thinking from a filmmaking perspective, she committed 100%, and she did that for the entire crawl. The entire crawl is her keeping that smile, and it gets more and more demented. She starts crying in the middle of it, you know? And that's why I wonder, Howard, man, what was what's your deal? He was like, don't worry, we'll just we'll feed him to the gators, and it's like nothing happened. She murdered his goddamn sister, and he's okay with that? He didn't question where Mitzi went, you know?
Maybe he just never found out.
Any final thoughts on Pearl before we hop on over to X?
Watch it if you haven't, and watch it first. If you haven't seen any of these movies, like we're doing this, start with Pearl and then go into X. It'll make X so much more better.
Moving on to the movie that would kick off a new trilogy, let's chat some about X. So it's rated R. It's from 2022 as well. It's a slasher thriller. It runs at 1 hour and 45 minutes, and it's got a higher than Pearl, surprisingly, 94% on Rotten. Written and directed by Ty West, starring Mia Goth, Jenna Ortega, Kid Cudi, Martin Henderson, Owen Campbell, Brittany Snow, and Stephen Curry. X follows a group of up-and-coming adult performers in the late 70s. The group makes their way to a rural Texas farm where they plan to secretly shoot an artsy pornographic film under the noses of the odd elderly couple, farm owners. The outcome results in one goddamn fucked up horror picture. Late during the year of 2020, A24 announced that they would be teaming up with writer-director Ty West for X. The actual production took place in New Zealand sometime in March of 2021. It was theatrically released in March of 2022. The film brought in $15 million against its just $1 million budget. Crazy. Overall, X felt like a much-needed throwback to the OG slasher formula, but that's not to say it doesn't add some of its own flair and originality, because it really does. Between Mia Goth playing both the main character and the villain in secret, and an outstanding ensemble cast, a wicked soundtrack composed by Tyler Bates and Chelsea Wolfe, it's hard to find stuff to not like about this one. Fever dream gore, outrageous elderly sex scenes, we never stood a chance. 4.5 Gators out of 5. So I know you went to see X in the theater. I think you saw it maybe before me. What were your thoughts?
Disgusted. In all the good ways. It's one of those movies, like I said, dude, years from now, people are going to look back at it, but obviously it's not as, I don't think it's as like grimy and gross as Texas Chainsaw, but it's up there, dude. Just the way it's shot it taking place in the 70s as well, feels like a completely different movie from Pearl, right? Like two totally separate movies. Obviously, you're dealing with the same character, but you couldn't tell, like, if no one told you watched both of these movies in whatever you watched X or whatever first and Pearl, you couldn't tell. As great as she is in Pearl, she's fucking two people in this movie, and she does like a phenomenal job at it. Like it's so good. Like, and the makeup is so good. Like and I think some of the things, the way she says things and the way she talks, you can kind of tell it's her. But other than that, like it's like two totally different people. And the reactions in the crowd, when I went to go see it in my theater, were fucking awesome. Like the scene with her and with Maxine and Pearl in bed, like I swear I heard like multiple times.
Because during that scene, I feel like she thinks it's her boyfriend, right?
Yeah. And everyone is fucking good in it. Everyone is so goddamn good in it. Brittany Snow is hilarious in it. Kelly's good in it. Obviously, Jenny Ortega is good in it. But yeah, man, it's just another one of those movies that sticks with you for a long time, and you think about it, and then you watch Pearl, and then you watch that, and you think in X, and you think about it even more. And like I said in the beginning, Pearl just adds so much more to X's story and how things are unfolding, and you definitely do. You still feel sorry for her a little bit, you know. She's a terrible fucking person, what she's doing, but you can't not help but feel like a little sad, especially with all the different. I think Pearl kind of touches on this, but X definitely does. All the different themes going on with age and wanting more out of life and not being able to live the life you wanted to or think you were supposed to, and everyone's been there. So I think that adds to the fact that you do feel a little sorry for her.
Yeah, and it kind of mirrors where obviously different age bracket, but Maxine in a lot of ways, Pearl sees herself as Maxine. And it's funny because in that opening scene of X, Maxine is like, I will not accept a life that I do not deserve, right? Mm-hmm. And that I feel like encapsulates what the story that they're trying to tell in a lot of ways. Dude, it just gets so batshit crazy. I like the build up. I like how they introduce Howard, and he seems very unhinged and very quick to be, like you're not sure if he's going to start gunning them down right as they get to the to the house. The tone is great, and it's awesome to see, Jenna Ortega and Brittany Snow, who had been kind of, I felt like, idle for a few years, seeing her come back and be so goddamn strong still. I like the confidence of making a movie about making a movie too. Yes. It's meta in a lot of ways, and it works. And I feel like, and I'm not sure if I'm the only one, but I feel like the Lorraine or Jenna Ortega's character has one of the biggest like turnovers as her character arc. Mm-hmm. Because X is a pretty short movie, and I feel like she goes a completely different direction than you would probably think, because they call her the church mouse. She's like the director's girlfriend that he's brought along to be the sound engineer, and nobody really takes her seriously. She's very quiet, very meek, and once they start shooting like the physical side of things, she decides that she wants to participate and add a scene, and then her boyfriend, being very insecure about the whole thing, is like, no, because we have a script, and it's not gonna fit into like the actual movie, like it won't make sense, but it's really that he feels like his girlfriend is better than the women that they are with. And when I watched this movie again in preparation for the show, I wanted to ask you kind of a weird question. And you feel free to answer this however you want. But what would you have done in that situation?
You know, it's funny because I just got finished watching X, and Sandy was watching it with me, and I legitimately asked her the same question. I feel like he was in the wrong for straight up saying no, right? But I do feel like the two couples that were there, that doesn't bother them, right? As a couple, you know, there's two different people in a relationship, and both couples have no problem with what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have these two characters that Jenny Ortega's character, she wants to do it now, and the boyfriend's like, what? Like, he definitely has a problem with it. So I can see why he has a problem with it. I feel like in that situation, anyone who had a problem with it would act the way he was acting.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Ty West that was put in there for that purpose, right? To get us to talk about that, and to get us to question her decision. I think I would feel the same way, but I would not be the person to tell my partner no. But like I said, I'm never going to be like, I don't think I would ever be in that position.
Yeah.
And both of us, so I'm pretty sure would never be in that position.
My take would be that when you're involved in that industry, I feel like it's it comes with the culture, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, well, if you didn't want your girlfriend to be exposed to this, then why bring her? You know, it was almost like, and maybe it's wrong for me to say this, but it's like you brought her along knowing how she was very sheltered, not, you know, and now she realized she's into it and she wants to experiment. It didn't seem like she wanted to break up with him over it, or she wasn't like no longer attracted to him. It was like, no, like I want to experience this because maybe this chance is never going to come again, you know? And even the others even tell him like, dude, like, you know, our boy over here is a professional, like it's not going to mean nothing. Like they're trying to talk him down. And again, even from your perspective, I see it. I don't know how I would react, but also if you're in that line of work, I feel like there is this kind of open relationship type deal that comes along with working or being a sex worker, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of weird, like almost like an overreaction for him. You could tell that he was maybe not too keen on what they were actually doing and just kind of using it as to get his foot in the door, because remember he tells them at the gas station, I want to make a real, like you can make a real, like a good naughty movie. I feel like he wanted his sights were higher, where he was like, I want to get into Hollywood and I'm going to use this as that milestone or whatever. And then this shit happened to him. But look, if he hadn't over exaggerated, he wouldn't have been brutally murdered the way he was. Because he was going to fucking leave them stranded and take the goddamn van.
No, it definitely was an overreaction. Like I said, like she could have went about it a little differently if that's what she wanted to do. Like whatever, fine, that's cool. But he obviously, like, they could have at least talked it out afterwards.
Yeah.
Like he didn't have to go into the shower and cry, and he didn't have to get in the car and be like, "Fuck them." That's what he basically said. Like, "Fuck these guys." Like they're nothing without me. I'm leaving.
Leaves all the equipment. It was very like seeing red impulse, and then and that's when he meets Pearl. And again, another question: I feel like if he had went along with Pearl's sexual advances, I don't know if she would have been triggered, man. It doesn't seem like it. It seems like she saw that they were making a naughty movie. She got turned on, and she saw this, this youthful group and a chance to experience something that she felt like she was gypped on. And his reaction of being grossed out, it was like, I feel like it triggered her and set off this chain of murders. Because once Lorraine or Jenna Ortega's boyfriend is killed, it's like they all follow suit. But nothing really extremely bad is happening until that point,
And what a fucking first kill, dude.
Oh yeah, she goes to town, man.
She goes to town. What's the song playing in the background? Don't Fear the Reaper.
Yeah, Blue Oyster Cult.
Blue Oyster Cult. And then the way she does it, when she stabs him in the neck, he kind of goes to the floor, and then she gets on top of him, and she's stabbing, and you can hear like the bone crunching and like cartilage in your neck, and then the blood is like splattering on the lights of the van, and so the whole scene is kind of red, like it's being reflected. The red is being reflected back onto her, and then she starts dancing, like Pearl was dancing in Pearl.
Yes.
To that Chelsea Wolfe cover, right? And that's why I talk about how like it just adds so much more to X seeing Pearl, and then she just fucking leaves him.
Yeah, doesn't even hides nothing. She does. She pops a tire, right, so that nobody else.
Yeah, she puts the tire in. She puts the knife in the tire
and takes the keys, if I'm remembering correctly. Did you think Jenna Ortega would be killed off the way that she was?
So I think her kill, like, it's obviously not like that first kill is very fucking good. Teddy's is kind of, it's super quick and it kind of happens off screen, right? You don't see anything. But her kill is probably my favorite because you're not expecting her to die. She's on the movie posters. She was heavily like in the all the ads and everything. So you're thinking, shit, she has to be. I thought she was going to be the final girl. I thought going into the movie, throughout the movie, I thought there was going to be two, her and. So they threw a curveball when she got fucking blasted. And then can we talk about how, in my opinion, that fucking scream is probably that's one of the all-time great screams, right? Her face, the sound of it. When she
finds the body in the cellar, that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. I wish that was a cover to the physical, because it's such a good that's my favorite scene in the movie, is her fucking screaming like that, dude. It's awesome. I wonder, Sandy had asked me the question, how many times do you think they filmed that? I thought she was going to get out. Like, that's my thing. And then when she bashes the door open with like an axe, right?
She gets a hatchet.
Her hand through it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And she's trying to unlock it, and he fucking comes with like, what is it? Like a crowbar or something?
Yes. Yeah.
And fucking demolishes her hands. And what's crazy, like, she has her hands there still, like she's not pulling it out for a good couple seconds, and he's doing more damage to it. Yeah, that whole scene with her in the house is awesome. Another fucking the kill is cool. What's his name?
Wayne, right? I think it's Wayne.
Yeah, Wayne. His kill is gnarly, right? Right through the eyes with the pitchfork, right? But what's even better is that fucking shot of him walking, and you see the nail with the plank of wood.
Yeah.
And like, you fucking know the way it's shot from the ground, and you know it's coming, you see it. And he just fucking, and it goes in like butter. Ugh, the best.
And the I don't know how they shot that, because it doesn't look like there's any cuts.
No, it doesn't.
There's no cuts. He pulls out the nail. You see the blood flow. Like, they sell the shit out of that, dude. I will say, I was slightly underwhelmed that he was taken out that easily, because they hype up his character a lot. I feel like you see him a lot, and then he's just like taken out. It's a great kill. And then she comes in. You see that like the silhouette of her and the pitchfork, and she comes in around the other side. Pearl does, and like sticks him again. Because I want to say, he lost his eyes, but he probably could have been unconscious from the pain, but he probably was still alive at that point.
Oh yeah.
And she, seals the deal, and then she buries him in the hay, like all fucked up. And then Mia Goth, dude, we haven't even talked about the alligator, the swim scene.
Yeah, dude, that's such a perfect scene. Like, it seems like he's got that. It seems like that camera is like fucking 200 feet above the lake, and she starts swimming towards the dock, and you just see that gator slowly, and you're like, oh my god, dude! At my first watch, I was like, dude, they're gonna fuck. This is the way she's gonna fucking die. Like, the fucking gator's gonna get her.
I thought, I was all, no way are they gonna do that right now, and then Pearl's like watching in the background. It doesn't say shit. and I'm still curious about why that is, because I feel like she was her favorite. She wanted her to be around, possibly kidnap her, and then what if the gator had caught her? Like, what then?
Yeah. That's the thing I wanted to, that just dawned to me when we were talking about Pearl, is that's the reason why she says she doesn't like blondes in X, because she's a blonde, and then what they say to her at the tryout. Yeah,
they do. Yeah, they do say that we want somebody a little bit more blonde, so that triggers Pearl with the Brittany Snow's character, the death on the dock, because she comes and she's trying to kind of be nice to Pearl and be like, let's get you inside, puts a blanket around her, and she's like, I don't need a doctor or whatever. She's all
fucking slaps her.
She's all, what have you ever done except be a whore or something? And then she pushes her in, and it's a vicious alligator kill.
Yeah, dude. The blood, she's fucking wailing. She's still screaming and shit.
Yeah, because it grabs her by the skull, but you can hear her you can hear her clearly still alive, and it does like that death roll. And then Howard strolls up, and he's like, is that the one? Was that the one you wanted or something? She's all, no, you don't. I don't like blondes.
Another thing I noticed too in X, when Lorraine is in the cellar, she's walking back towards the door, and that's the dad's wheelchair, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And I didn't get that on this is like my fourth watch, and I didn't get that at all those watches. But this watch, I was like, oh my god, I was legitimately the Leonardo DiCaprio fucking meme.
Whistling at the screen. Did you read like his Ty West's like influences while making this?
I didn't.
He cited, of course, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is obvious, and then Boogie Nights. I'm assuming maybe like the opening when she's in the mirror.
Oh yeah.
She's like, I'm a fucking star or whatever, right? Dude, and then we got to talk about the fact that they sneak in, the fact that Maxine comes from a some kind of religious cult that she's managed to run away from, that Pearl and Howard have they're kind of showing their sermons on the TV the entire time. And then at that very end, before the movie ends, you see like they're the pastor or whatever is like, yeah, even my own daughter is a sex fiend, and he shows it's like a young picture of
Maxine.
Yeah.
Another, I don't think we haven't talked about the the Lorraine scene when she screams is my favorite, but coming in close is that awesome fucking scene with Brittany Snow and Kid Cudi performing, what's it called?
Landslide, right?
Landslide. And you kind of get it's a real nice shot of Pearl, and she's kind of taking off her makeup and getting ready for bed, and you see how old she is, and just the context of the song, and then how like young and vibrant the crew is of the movie, and the nice time they think they're having. It shows the scenes of Pearl and her getting for bed. It's such a fucking well done scene.
Yeah, and Cudi playing the acoustic, and he's just like killing it,
all badass and shit. This fucking afro.
Also, I feel like out of everyone, he was the most undeserving of his death because he literally did nothing but try to be cool.
And he was so fucking kind to Pearl's husband too. Like, doesn't he call him Pops too?
Yeah.
And he's trying to help him, and then he just fucking gets blasted. I'm like, no, Cudi.
He even thinks that Howard has like wandered off into the swamp and like was drowning, and he goes out there to save him. There's like I guess Howard had rigged a flashlight to trick him to go out there, and it doesn't work. He gets the flashlight, he comes back, and he's like, I thought I lost you, man. And then Howard like flips a switch, and he's like, you guys, you think you could just flaunt your shit around here in front of my wife and enticing my wife, and I know you're kind, and then Cudi's just confused, and he's like, okay, like, let's go back in the house now. And he just gets blasted, and it's like super quick and off screen, but I felt like he was just like a good dude all around, and war veteran, and really not deserving of that.
No, I think that one bothers me a little bit more than the barn kill, just because it's so sudden. You don't see anything, and he was being so fucking nice and trying to help, and he just gets blasted away,
like super close range too. Like, do you think that religious cult thing that they teased at the end will have something to do with Max?
Maxine? I definitely think it's going to have something to do with Maxine. I also, would be, I wonder if they're going to do that is, do you think she gets famous in Hollywood because that movie they put that out, and it's like, it gains traction and gains following because of what happened to all of them, and that's how she gets famous, or that's a reason why she gets famous?
What's it called? The Farmer's Daughters, right?
Yeah.
I never really thought about that, but that's a great pitch, dude. Like, I hope that's what it is. That'd be awesome. And I always thought it was weird that she just leaves, Maxine just leaves in the pickup truck, and she doesn't grab, of course she's in shock or whatever, but she doesn't grab like the film stock or anything that would tip the cops off that she was there,
Mm-hmm.
That would have been the smart thing to do, is to take all of the evidence. I know she didn't do anything wrong necessarily, but with leaving that the scene the way that she did, it could how do you say, like, incriminate her.
Yeah.
As they are going to think that she's the killer or whatever. So I'm interested in if they kind of touch on that or not. Anybody listening to this out there, both Pearl and X should be streaming on Showtime. So if you have Showtime or you have that station, check them out. But I'm going to assume that if you've gotten this far into the show, you've probably seen at least one of them. So go watch it again. I never really thought about how the climax of X, Maxine or Mia Goth is basically facing off against herself. And how did they shoot that so well?
Dude, I would exactly, like, how the fuck, going back to the budget thing, what the fuck? That's sorcery. Like, Ty West has to be Doctor Strange. And I know it's probably like doubles too, but like this, even the scene when they're in bed together, like when she crawls into bed with Maxine, like.
Oh, another thing that I think it's gonna give you even more respect for Mia Goth is she sat in a damn chair for 10 to 12 hours for that prosthetic makeup, and then would go shoot for another like 9 hours. And I know you said that now watching it, knowing that it's her, because before I didn't know it was her, but now knowing that it's her underneath it, she does, when she'll deliver certain lines, you can hear that it's kind of her, but she's still virtually like unrecognizable. You cannot, there's no features that come through, like you have no idea that was her. I remember I blew your mind when I found out that first, and I think I told you or I alluded to it, and you were all, wait a minute, no way.
Even in our watch right now, Santa was like, I still can't believe, like, because you told me that, and then I told her that, and she was like, what? And so right now we were watching it, and she was like, I still can't believe that when you told me that she's the same fucking person. And I was like, I know, right? Like, even watching it now, it's like insane. Like you if you don't tell someone, they would never know.
All right, man. So, like I said at the top of the show, I was going to announce what we're doing for Halloween, our Halloween episode with Chris Pollock coming back, and we're going to talk about the original Suspiria.
Ooh.
That's going to be a pretty fun one, man. I haven't seen it in a long time, so I'm excited, and hopefully everybody out there is as well.
Will we get Chris's take on the remake?
Yes, and I think I'm going to watch that as well to kind of compare and contrast it. But yes, we will definitely be talking about the remake. Shout out to Tom York.
Check out our Spotify playlist that we put together every week. Links, we always post a link. I'm going to switch it up, try switching it up tomorrow. But we put a lot of good music on that list. One of the songs that I know a lot of time I put songs that like I'm listening to at that time, but sometimes I'll put songs that I just really love and I think you should hear.
Shout out to Ryan for organizing our October giveaway. I think it just officially closed, even though I know you guys are listening to this. It'll already have been announced, but I just wanted to say on air, thank you, everybody that played. It was so awesome to see like the enthusiasm throughout the post, the comments. Very, very cool.
It really was. Like I was on that post every couple hours, liking everybody's comments and the movies they like watching. So yeah, thank you for participating, and you will not be, for the winners, you will very much like what's coming in store for you.
And as you announced online already, we will have some runner-up prizes. So there will be 2 winners, grand prize winner and a runner-up, who will be getting a lot of cool goodies. So your chances are increased. And yeah, thank you all for playing. We'll be doing another one very, very soon. Everybody out there, if you're stumbling upon this podcast, we go by Drop the Mic. Go check us out on all major podcast platforms, including YouTube, Spotify, Luminary, what have you. Go check us out. Subscribe. Give us that 5-star rating, a little review if you're feeling kind. And yeah, keep on listening, and we will keep on making content every week. So, Halloween episode coming up next. We're going to be talking about Suspiria. Thank you for tuning in to our X and Pearl double feature. We did this for you, so hopefully you enjoyed it, at least a little bit. This is Wesley Swanson, Ryan Jimenez signing off, saying good fight and good night.
Farmer's daughter, take one. I need to be famous, Wayne. All the best people are.
There ain't nobody else out there like you.
You know why?
Why?
Because you got that X Factor.
Our days of struggling may soon be over.
Hollywood, here we go.
So this is it. Our own studio backlot.
You looking for a place to stay?
Oh, yes, sir.
That's one ugly son bitch. And my wife, Pearl, is next door. So I would appreciate a little discretion.
He don't know what we're doing, does he?
Well, it's better to beg for forgiveness and ask for permission.
Would you like to come inside?
Much obliged.
I want to be in the movie.
Well, you can't. The story can't just change midway through.
If Daddy catches us, there's no telling what he might do.
My wife is not well. It happens after dark.